eraser in the cut just like a razor. Murked up in this world, my blazer. I got all the boys on me, I got all the lines on ring. knocking dead, turning heads. I got all the eyes on me. Pretty face 걸어 들어와 유행 선두자. 원하지만 못하잖아 애가 타잖아. You like wow 달리 유도 gold. 난 알지 I know 준비해 cause I like the ball 멈추지 않아. 말할래 그게 like a bag 그거 말고 bye 믿어봐 그만큼 크게 어깨 펴고 high 100% 덤비지 못해 죽여주잖아. 나는 boss 간지 with the sauce 원하면 줄게.
I'm doing damage when just how I planned it. I do what I want when I say 모든 날 따라해 난 끝내주잖아. To live on the edge of insane.
Coming at you like real, real world. Here to light it up, set the world on fire. Gonna break rules and hearts and tools, cause that's what the baddest do. I never going back, nah, nah, that. Diamonds on drip, cause I came to make a splash. Gonna break rules and hearts and tools, cause that's what the baddest do.
It's crazy. Sorry for the bad news, sorry I'm so bad. Only took a minute for me to get what you had. Sorry for the bad news, know it makes you sad. There for a minute, baby, you should pack your bags. Way that I look should be breaking the law. If I don't got it, I take what I want. My circle small like a round of applause. You know that I love the sound of applause. You know I mean everything that I say. When you see me come and get out of the way. Back in this lane, back in this lane. Back and I'm better and ready to stay. I'm doing damage when just how I planned it. I do what I want when I say 모든 날 따라해 난 끝내주잖아. To live on the edge of insane. It's crazy.
Sorry, not sorry for being the best. 언제든지 내가 좀 mess. Look at the gold, all on my chest. Look at the gold, call it a flex.
As a child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one that would while they all play. And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things
to the sounds of the silence that allows for my mind to run around with my ear up to the ground. I'm searching to behold the stories that I told when my back is to the world that was smiling when I turned. Tell you you're the greatest, but once you turn, they hate us. Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Smell the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Look out for yourself. My enemy. Look out for yourself. But I'm ready. Your words up on the wall as you're praying for my fall, and the laughter in the halls, and the names that I've been called. I stack it in my mind, and I'm waiting for the time when I show you what it's like to be worse fit in the mind. Tell you you're the greatest, but once you turn, they hate us. Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Smell the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Look out for yourself. My enemy. Look out for yourself.
Look, okay, I'm hoping that somebody pray for me. I'm praying that somebody hope for me. I'm staying where nobody supposed to be. Posted, being a wreck of emotions. Ready to go whenever you let me know. The road is long, so put the pedal into the flow. The energy on my trail, my energy unavailable. I'ma tell him I still away go. Hey, when I fly on my drive to the top, I've been out of shape, thinking out the box. I'm an astronaut. I blasted off the planet, rock that caused catastrophe, and it matters more because I had it. Now I had I thought about wreaking havoc on an opposition, kinda shocking. They want a static with precision. I'm automatic, quarterback. I ain't talking second pack it up on panic, batter up. Who the baddest? It don't matter, cause we is your
Everybody wants to be my enemy. Smell the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Smell the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. I swear I'll never be a saint, no way. My enemy. I swear I'll never be a saint. Look out for
we show 'em how we do it every day.
Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali gon' stop, Kali gon' skirt, Kali got a job, Kali go to work. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 든 a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my hotbed, 그문 열지 마 that's a rock day. Don't give any more 'cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking back. 부르마 on message monopoly. 눈종이 돈이나 real money 필요 없대 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 더 미션 눈을 못 떼.
Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the final day of our League of Legends tournament where we have the championship between Imagine Losing and the Tarek Sims. Imagine Losing did go 4-0 and does have the number 1 seed, so they are the home team and they do decide to go on the red side. So for match 1 and 3, Imagine Losing will be on the red side, and the Tarek Sims will take the red side on the second match. And with that, we will beginning our first match here today. And here today, we do have Olivia, the KASA president, here with us today to cast along with me. If you would like to say hi, Olivia.
I don't know anything about League, but I will do my best.
That's quite alright, and we're just gonna have a good time today, and that's the goal. And so now we get into the draft right away. We do see Twitch banned out immediately. Champion that we've seen Inta's win, or Jashi play quite a lot throughout the tournament. Actually, I think he played it in every single match he was able to play in. What do you think about that champion, just looking at it?
Can you zoom in?
I cannot.
I missed.
You could look it up on your computer though.
I can't even see it, to be honest. Can you just tell me the name of it?
Twitch.
Something.
The name is Twitch.
Twitch. Oh, the mouse one.
Yeah, the rat.
Yeah, I mean, it's alright. It's like not the best looking champion, but I can see the appeal, I guess.
The appeal, I guess? What do you think is that appeal? What is the appeal that you see?
I mean, hasn't this guy been playing Twitch like every single game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he knows something that we don't, so I don't know.
Maybe he does. And we do see Annie, Draven, Zaya, Rakan banned out as well. Champions that we've seen a lot in the tournament, has shown a lot of presence in the games, has very good win rates I think so far. And now we see Amumu banned out.
What's the number 1 pick champion so far in the tournament?
I think the number 1 pick champion was Shen and Malphite. Malphite's like a big rock, and then Shen is just like a ninja. A samurai? A ninja?
I think I did see someone playing Shen the last time.
And we see Jinx coming out. Have you seen Arcane?
I have.
What did
Jinx
you
is
think
a little
about Jinx?
crazy though, I don't know.
You don't like that?
A
You
little
don't like
crazy.
crazy?
A little too crazy.
A
I
little
don't
too
know.
crazy? But you like crazy.
Maybe this player is also crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Crazy champion for crazy player maybe.
Are you calling the player crazy?
I don't know, maybe. And this guy's been playing Jinx like multiple times, so it's just a little.
Okay. And we see Irelia coming out. Irelia is a really high skill champion. We actually did see Irelia once. Is a very solo reliant champion, not really runs with the team well. But we see Thresh and Blitzcrank coming out. So how do you feel about playing against champions like Thresh and Blitzcrank? You know, they have the hooks.
I honestly think if I were to face off on a one-on-one, I would rather go against Thresh. I feel like Blitzcrank is just kind of more jump scare with his hooks.
Jump scare.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like an unassuming robot, but like Thresh like looks like he'll hook you or something, you know?
So if you were going to ban a champion, would you ban Blitzcrank?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
He's the first to go.
First to go. He gets no life in the tournament.
No, yeah.
And we see Silas coming out. Do you actually know Silas can steal other champions' ultimates?
Oh, interesting.
So he takes other people's ultimates and just uses it by like for himself.
Oh,
And
kind
now
of like a
he's
bully champion, I guess.
a bully champion, but he's chained. He's in chains.
I see. Yeah, still a bully.
And then we see Gwen Van and Cyan Vans and a Kaisa pick.
Mm.
And the last bands are going to come out from both sides here. Both teams choosing to make their mid and bot lane picks first. So what champion do you fancy in League of Legends so far, Olivia?
Mm, honestly, I honestly kind of go for the pretty ones.
The
So
pretty ones?
typically Garen. Yeah,
Garen, very
I'm
pretty.
typically a Garen mid laner, but
Garen mid lane.
I do
Oh
like
wow.
Wukong once in a while. Yeah. Well, it doesn't always turn out so well. I mean,
I mean that's okay.
but I just like the stride breaker. Like
If you play League of
bit
Legends
of
and
a,
every game turned out well for you, you should go pro.
that's true. I put Faker out of business, to be honest, but
And we see no bans from both sides actually. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's very interesting. As
maybe they're playing it risky this time.
maybe they're being a little bit funky. They're feeling a little something today. And now we will see the fourth pick, Zac, coming out. And we do see the Zac pick coming out.
Oh,
What do you think about Zac? How does he look to you?
what is that?
He's like a menacing like slime monster.
I see. Honestly, like left side has the hotter team as of now, so
Left side has the harder
a
team.
bit biased.
Like
Yeah.
what's the biggest difference maker so far?
Literally now it's like Zach.
like
Just
Zac
brought down
like
the
Zac brought down the Riz of the red team.
yeah.
Oh, Wukong coming out. I was wondering why Wukong actually never showed up in the whole tournament. Really strong champion actually in the meta game right now, and not incredibly difficult to play. So I was wondering the lack of presence of Wukong in this tournament so far. But now we finally actually see Wukong coming out. And Jax also being played for the first time. So I think blue side here right now has a very standard pro player comp actually, with the exception of maybe Blitzcrank. It's a team that pros would generally run in a lot of their matches. And we do see Veigar coming out. So what is your final conclusion on which team has more Riz?
Definitely the left side. I mean, I feel like there's just more flavor on the left side. The right side, it's like look at the bottom two. Like Thresh and Zach are kind of pulling down
Oh, but
the
there's
top
like
three.
but Thresh and Zac, they have like a color scheme going on together,
That's true. That is true, but it kind of cancels out, you know?
It kind of cancels out. Wait, but then shouldn't that make it
Yeah.
neutral and not negative Riz anymore?
I guess. I honestly really just strongly dislike the way Zach looks. No offense no offense to the player,
Are
enemy
you a
side,
Zac
but
hater?
now I am. I didn't even know that champion existed,
I
but
mean, there are
yeah.
160 champions. It will take a while to
I
learn
see,
all of
yeah.
them.
Do you have any bets for who's gonna come out on top today?
Um, I don't know about bets, but looking at the teams right now, I would have to say I do think blue side has a better draft. Like to play,
Same.
I think the left side has a better draft to make the most potential out of, so they have a higher potential, a higher ceiling. But I do think the right side has an easier to play team comp, so it means they'll be easier to get a higher level of value out of the champions that they chose. So I think it really depends on how masterful the left side players are with the champions that they decided to play. because if played properly, champions like Wukong, Silas, Jax, Blitzcrank, Jinx, actually all five of them can really just really just change the flow of the game, even if they're in like any sort of a disadvantage. While as red side is less that way, maybe Irelia might have that value and Thresh as well, but Veigar, Zac don't have that same kind of skill ceiling value, and
Mm.
Kaisa is like in between. It's not like super easy to play, but also not like the hardest and the most high skill ceiling in my personal opinion. But we shall see. But I do like how red team has a more clear direction with the color code. It's like 2 green and like 3 purple.
Oh, you really vibing with the color code
No, the
here.
color coding is very nice. They got the very cool tone vibes here going for them.
Mm.
Even though they are on the
Starting to
red
wonder if they
side.
did that. Yeah, starting to wonder if they did that intentionally, you know?
But maybe when we see the
Because,
skins, that color coding might not be there. And that would
oh,
really
that's
disappoint
true.
me. I think that would really
I do
disappoint
think
me.
skins, yeah, I do think Zach could come back with a good skin, maybe. I think could definitely change his reputation.
What if like Zac was pink? Would that make it better? Or
Mm,
like blue?
no. Not gonna lie, the name is also throwing me off. I mean, you have names like Kaisa and Irelia, and then you have
Zac.
Zach. It's like, no offense to anyone named Zach. Like, I don't mean anything like
But what about
offensive,
like
but just
Jax?
like
Does
Jackson. I mean, how many Jaxes do you know, like in real life? You
but
know?
I don't know any Zacs that are spelled like Z-A-C, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know. I do.
Oh, you actually do?
Kinda. Like, I don't know. I just assume. I'm a
You,
professor.
you
I'm
just
just
assume.
assuming. I mean,
Don't even know for sure.
wow. Yeah, the spectator delay, I didn't realize how long it was actually.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes to prevent spectators from interfering with like the state of the game by cheating, like or telling teams like what's going on in the situation. But Valorant actually doesn't have this delay, so for the Valorant tournament, we shouldn't be dealing with this issue at all.
That's true. I'm actually very excited to see some of these players come back in Valorant.
hmm Actually, we will be seeing a lot of them come back in Valorant.
Oh, the KDA Kaisa.
So what skins? With looking at the skins, where how you looking? Which side looks a little better right now?
Oh, I don't know. The bottom side, like if you just block out Zach, they all look so good.
But Zach was the problem there. It's like just take out Zach. Zach
Yeah.
looks so ugly here. Like,
I mean, all their skins look so good, honestly.
hmm you just have a problem with Zach.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. No
I mean,
offense to KDA or Kali.
that's fair.
Yeah,
Actually,
we'll see. We'll see how.
we see a lot of role swapping here. Katie Akali was always playing mid, but now he's in the jungle. And we do see P-Boy 14 moving into the mid lane and Ducky in the top lane. And let's see if the timer's running. And it is. So we will begin the first match of the finals.
Oh, I'm not sure if you're taking a look at the stream comments, but it looks like there's a few USC viewers right now.
For real? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm actually quite
There.
surprised. USC pulled up.
Oh, there's a bit of a delay for the stream. They're asking to fix the stream, but
Is the stream not working?
I think it's the delay between the live versus.
Oh, I see.
I'm
They're
not sure.
they're in spectator. No, I think it should be working now, but if not, I should give it a look once more.
Yeah, we'll give it a minute.
Wow, this chat is popping off.
No, everyone showed up for the championship game.
I don't know why this screen... Oh, it should be captured properly now. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, it's back.
Alright, so good trades coming out into mid, but so far we shouldn't be any significant changes in the game state so far. And wow, we have 11 viewers in chat. And there won't be much to see. We have questions about the game. Okay, so if you'd like to proceed with some of these questions, maybe we can answer some of them. Only watch top lane, please. I cannot do that, unfortunately, but you could. I feel like
Wow,
top
you don't
lane
wanna
will
give the
be a lot of
viewers-
trading.
You don't want to give the viewers what they want? It's a
I mean, we
little-
gotta cover as much content as we can. If nothing's happening in the top lane, there's nothing to watch in the top lane. But I'm sure there will be a lot of penning towards top lane, as top lane does genuinely have a lot of trades. So I shouldn't be too surprised if the AI system that controls the observer as well will be hovering up into top lane a lot. And Jaden playing really aggressive here, and he does get the first blood in mid lane.
Wow.
If nothing's happening in the bot lane, there's no reason to watch a bot lane. Yeah, you're right, there is no reason to watch the bot lane. That is very correct. At that point, we just might as well not watch the game at all.
Seems like we have some sassy viewers tonight.
It makes it fun. Oh, whoa, we see a fight, and oh, Zach barely gets out there. I mean, your least favorite Zach almost died there, so maybe that
That's
would have been a
true.
plus
I mean-
for you. Oh,
No,
and
I'm not
Irelia
into
gets a
Jack,
double stun,
obviously.
but the stun from
Ooh.
Jax comes out, and Irelia does go down, and they will clean up the Zac passive as well. That's a double kill over to Chapmo on the Wukong. And 2 assists for the Jax as well. So right now, blue side actually getting a big advantage. And should be surprising considering the last time these two teams faced off. Red team did have a considerable lead throughout most of the game. And we do see a flash in from Deki on the Irelia, but does not get the kill. And we can see another first solo kill coming out in the mid lane. But nope, instead, they will just back off. And a stun lands onto the Jax, and the trades are coming out, but a teleport coming in from the Sylas, but
Ooh.
Irelia does get the shutdown onto Wukong. Actually, it was a Jax teleport, excuse me. And actually, Nathan is really comfortable on this Thresh pick, so he could be a really big game changer on this champion, as he is known to be a very... Oh, but they're not going to get the Lantern, and that's just a
Ooh.
kill over to the Jinx in the bot lane.
18 times going a bit crazy. I do remember Nathan, they banned Thresh the last time Nathan was playing, so.
Yeah, they did. But now he gets his comfort pick for once. But even regardless of the shutdown, blue team is at quite a lead here, and Jaden getting so much
Ooh.
damage off onto P-Boy 14 here. And Wukong is also here, so that will just be a kill going over to Wukong. And Jax hits level 6 first, could probably get more trade value here if he just wants to go for anything, but nope, he will play it more safely. And that's a 5-1 advantage over for blue side currently. And the stun actually doesn't land on Irelia. And there is also a 2v1 fight going up here into the top side jungle, deep into red side. And Jaden actually gets a kill into the Zac, and he could potentially get a second one, but no. And we do see Inta's win on the Kaisa going down once again. It's his first time. His first time playing a champion that isn't Twitch so far in the competition. And now Ducky is going to get stunned by the Jax. The trade damage will come, and Fluffy Kitten will get the solo kill on to Ducky on the Irelia pick. So blue side with the really huge advantage here, 3,000 gold ahead already. And I think red side's undefeated streak might come to an end with this match. And it does seem like the team with more Riz, according to Olivia, is doing considerably better actually.
Um, 1119 Sparrow Lake. My name is just a visitor. 1119 Sparrow Lake. My name's Josh.
What is Songa saying?
Thank you.
Songa, you're unmuted by the way. I have no idea if that was intentional, but oh, we do see a disconnect and a pause potentially? And yep, we do see a pause coming in right here.
Unfortunate. It's okay.
Commentators, is this a 1-game series or what? This is a best of 3 series, so actually whoever wins 2 first, it will just end. Does someone just leak their address? I don't think so.
I might be on the stream actually.
But that was a very interesting commentary coming in. And is the match paused probably, is what I'm guessing right now.
Yeah.
And nope, it does continue once again. Got play a man down to give red a chance. I mean, even if red team loses this match, they still have an opportunity to make it back with their next 2 matches, so too late to give up. And Blitz is going aggressive, and the hook does land onto Kaisa.
Wow.
Will the kill come out though? Nope. The kill will not follow. $0 cost. The rewards are still being discussed, as we will finalize those details with the conclusion of the Valorant tournament as well. So we are a little bit unsure on that as of now. And the Blitz hook lands, and the Thresh is able to flay the Blitz back, and the Blitz is getting incredibly low, and the Zac is here ready, but the kill comes out onto Kyungmin, and Chatmo getting in deep with the Wukong. He will get the double knockup, and so much damage coming out from blue side, and the Zac passive will also go down. So blue side with the 10 kill advantage already, 4,000 gold just 10 minutes in. And it does seem like this match is just most likely going to go away with blue team, as Team Tarek Sims is just doing so incredibly well. And we do see Jaden aggressing onto the Veigar again, but he will get hit by the stun, but he does land the second E-proc, and Wukong is here ready, and Veigar flashes out. Zac is here ready to try and help, but Veigar does go down regardless, and now they're onto the Zac as well. And will he be able to get the damage off? Nope, and he will just jump out safely. And so far the game state seems pretty stabilized, especially for the Tarek Sims on the blue side, as they have a huge advantage, only 1 kill going over, but Ducky is going aggressive onto this Wukong, as he knows that he needs to make a play to get his team back into this one, but no, he will have to back off, and I don't even know if he can win this 1v1 against the Silas. He is trying his best to kite around, and he does land a stun, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and the W comes out, but regardless, Jaden going on a killing spree on the Silas pick. It's 13-1. Might be one of actually the most polarizing matches we've played so far in the championship game. And we do see a Blitz hook landing onto a minion, and the Thresh hook lands, but Jinx immediately cleanses it out, but the Kaisa W lands, and the Kaisa ult comes out, and the shutdown going over to Kaisa on the Jinx. That gets Red Team somewhat back into the game, at least, with Kaisa being able to get that kill, and a flash coming out from Nate down the Thresh, but Kaisa gets hooked under the turret and will die. And they don't even get the kill onto the Blitzcrank, and I think Kyungmin goes down here on the Thresh, but he will get the shutdown onto the Blitz. But at least he's able to get the shutdown onto the Blitz, and he will follow right after. But I have been waiting for Wukong to come out, and honestly, he's flying around the map. And Red Team actually getting Rift Herald here, so maybe it can be some leeway for them to get some turret plates and try and keep this game a little bit closer than it already is. And this Jax Irelia matchup is probably really difficult for Irelia to play around, as Jax can just dodge all of Irelia's auto attack damage. And the Veigar, there's a CC chain, and actually so much damage coming out from the Veigar. And Veigar getting a double kill and a lot of shutdown gold. Actually, Red Team may not be done yet. But Jinx is here, and the Jax actually aggresses right onto the Jinx, was hiding, waiting for it, but he is low, and both sides just backing off, but Kyungmin decides actually to go aggressive for the hook and will not land it, but regardless, really good aggression coming out from Team Imagine Losing, and they are able to try and keep this game closer than it already is. But Fluffy Kitten is just going to keep hitting, and we do see a Jinx rocket going absolutely nowhere. Unsure where the Jinx rocket was focusing towards. Maybe he thought that Irelia would back off after the Jax decided to aggress under the turret. But Irelia is forced to stop her back as Jax keeps aggressing the wave here. And Jax decides to just go aggressive for the fight, and will get the kill, but will he survive? No, it's a 1v1 trade coming out under the turret, but that's so many waves lost. Actually, no waves lost, as only a couple minions go down. And we should see just the minion waves both stabilizing into the middle of the top lane. As if we check out the bot side of the match so far, well, actually, this gold difference actually isn't even that bad. Even though blue side does have 2 dragons, they are only 2,000 to 3,000 gold behind right now. So it is possible that red side stays close in this one. Oh, and the Blitzhook just barely misses. I think that was right almost at the end of the hitbox. But this Wukong is so incredibly strong. Still actually doesn't have his first item yet, surprisingly, but once he does get that, and we could see this Jinx a little bit over aggressing, but no, Zac will be backing off, and they do have vision on him now, so they should know that this Zac is sitting towards the bottom side. And the Veigar going aggressive does spot out the Wukong, and the Everfrost lands, but will most likely not be able to get out of the situation, as yes, Jaden does get the kill onto the Veigar, stealing his ultimate, using it right back at him. Oh, and the hook doesn't land once again, and so much damage coming out. But this top lane turret is a little bit rough, but regardless, this team is still holding on, and the Blitzhook does land onto the Kaisa. I think the Kaisa will go down, but not yet. Locket does save him, but not for very long, as Jaden is here ready to sneak up and take that kill away. So blue side's still staying really strong and pushing their lead even more despite the couple of shutdowns that they actually gave up to get red side back into this game. And now we do see an aggression onto the Silas here. The Zac knockup lands, but the stun will not. And Jaden trying to do some quick footwork, dodging most of the abilities that are actually being thrown as Wukong and Blitz are prepared, ready to get this re-engage on, but it does seem like they will have to most likely just back off here as more red team players are coming in. The Kaisa W does land, but will Kaisa choose to use the ultimate? I don't think so. And the flash comes in, and the Veigar gets another shutdown, and this time onto the Wukong. That's even more gold coming in, and the Zac does take the last terror shot, but the passive will be procced and he will survive. Really good team fighting coming in from red side as they're not able to capitalize so much, and the Jinx rocket doesn't land on anyone once again.
Oh man, an unfortunate day for Jinx's rockets.
I mean, those aren't easy to land, and he's throwing them where he thinks fights are going to happen, so I don't entirely blame him for those decisions. But despite the lead that blue side had, I feel like red side can really stay into this game still. Wow, and they were just waiting for this Kaisa here, and I don't think Kaisa will actually survive. Nope, not at all. And we do see an aggressive fight in towards the bot side jungle as the Wukong ultimate will knock up everyone twice, and that's so much damage coming out. If Wukong gets good positioning, it doesn't seem like blue team has anything to be scared of as they will get the third Drake as well. Chatmo absolutely popping off. And that is Ocean Drake going over to blue side, and they will be waiting a couple of minutes for this last Drake to spawn so they can try and get Ocean Soul. But despite the aggressive state of the game where it's 28 kills in 18 minutes, there's actually only 2 turrets down so far. Or 3 turrets down. 2 for the blue side and 1 for red, and Ducky going aggressive and does bait out the Blitzcrank hook. And it's a really interesting situation so far. Red team is probably just gonna have to funnel and try and get as much experience and gold as they can. Because despite the good fights that they're taking, when the Wukong is present, it's really hard for them to win team fights. And this Jinx is doing so much damage already. But the Zac gets a good engage on, forces the flash out from the Jinx. And the Jinx ultimate rocket does land finally, but doesn't claim a kill quite yet. But Wukong is here ready to completely sweep the red team. And now Ducky is trying to run away, but he gets hooked back from the Blitzcrank. He flashes out, but will not survive. And then blue team getting so much pressure in towards mid lane. And that's 5 players there. And they should be able to get 2 mid-tier turrets, it seems, with this big minion wave. And we do see Jinx flash being pinged at as that Zac engage did force the Jinx to flash out, but they didn't have the follow-up engage to fully get into the backline, and blue team gets the best of that fight, and this gold lead is now even further increased as it does seem like Wukong and Silas will be near unkillable at this point in the game. And we do see a lot of vision being cleared out right now, but even with the vision scores, Blue team is being a lot more disciplined and properly clearing out as much vision as they can, even with their lead. And we do see the Veigar stun landing twice actually because of the cleanse. And the hook does land onto the Veigar, but I don't know if they want to take this fight. It's a 2v4, they might get dove. And a 1v1 fight in the top lane, but Kaisa definitely loses this fight. Jax goes for the flash and gets the solo kill onto the Kaisa. And we do see Chapma going aggressive on the Wukong once again, and the hook lands right onto the Irelia. And I don't know if they'll be able to survive, even if Veigar is able to place down the traps. And Silas going even deeper in, and the Jinx W lands as well. And I think it's gonna be an ace going on, as Masteries are flash, but it doesn't matter as Blue Team clears the ace, and they go for Baron here, it seems. And now with Baron being taken, we should be seeing this gold league going even more from 10,000 gold to almost 11,000, 12,000. And if we look at the levels as well, there's just a huge level advantage in the mid and jungle. 3 to be precise. And I think Red side is going to have to take a different direction into the next game when it comes to their pick ban phase. We do see that Red team is trying to somehow slowly make it back, and we do see Nathan getting hooked over the wall. Thresh has no way out of this situation, but instead he hooks his teammate forward to try and help his situation, but no, it's not going to work out, and Blitz will get the kill onto the Thresh. Not the player you want the kill on, but it doesn't seem to matter regardless, as Red team is just being pushed back, and Jinx getting another kill onto the Zac, and Silas getting another one to push on towards the Veigar. And now I think that we should just see the Nexus going down here, as Baron buff is also available, and there's just no way for Blue team to come back from the situation, but I mean Red team to come back from the situation, excuse me, as there's so much fighting happening, but now we have basically another ace coming out for the blue side, and we should see this first match ending right here. An incredibly good hook coming in, and they're going
okay.
That kill doesn't even matter, but to really make sure that they win this game, and Jaden even goes into the fountain and goes golden. But with that, we do end match 1, and we will be getting both teams back into the call. And the teams are joining in again slowly, as now that we have all 10 players, we will be proceeding with interview questions actually at the end of the match of the entire best of 3. So we will just be going on a short break for everyone to take some time. So we will reconvene here at 9:55 to start the second match.
I mean,
selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun. Someday I'll be overcast, but you won't have to cry, 'cause we'll do the grieving while I'm by your side. I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. And I'm so scared of getting used to this. All the vines that keep you tethered in your room. Well, someday both of us are leaving here, but for now I'll just bring this sea to you. Will you meet me in the daylight like we did before? Then I felt you on my shoulder and you weren't suffering anymore. You said, I'm sorry that you worry, but don't apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, and when we're gone, everything goes on. We at the top again, now what? We lay the crown, but count us higher than a mountain. And we be up here for the long run, strap in for a long one. We got everybody on one. Now you coming at the king, so you better not miss. And we only get stronger with everything I carry up on my back. You should paint it up with a target. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you loving my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you loving my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
Alright, with that, we are back for match 2 then, so we will be beginning that now. As we do see an unexpected win actually coming in from the Tarek Sims, as the last time these two teams met, it was completely towards the advantage of Imagine Losing. But now that the Tarek Sims have taken over, Imagine Losing are on the end where they have to try and decide if they can really come back to make this go into the third match completely. And soon, I guess I think the teams are discussing one final point before they get into the match. Now, we do get into this second match of the tournament so far.
Do you think any of the Tarek Sims picks from last game will be target banned?
I think so. Well, that
Oh,
answers the question.
yeah.
And we do see Blitzcrank going away immediately. And I don't know if the Terrexons would choose to ban any of the champions that Imagine Losing played last match because they did considerably well, and I think they're just going to focus on two similar bans as the last match and get them onto similar champions and maybe see if they can get advantage. And Zaya is banned out again. Zaya seems to be a highly prioritized champion right now, and Vladimir also banned out. As I know, Katie Akali has played Vladimir quite a lot. An incredibly strong scaling champion that's not very easy to deal with. And
Banning Silas.
yep, Silas Jaden did turn out to be incredibly strong on the Silas pick, so a really smart ban out in my opinion, and then the Twitch ban as well. So Intizuna actually isn't in this game, but they still decide to ban out the Twitch nonetheless. I guess it's not the most easy champion to play against as he can go invisible.
Wow. Someone actually just PM'd me on Instagram saying to unblock the chat on the live stream.
Yeah, we do have community guidelines, and when people don't abide by them, we will have to block it off, as we are a school-related club, so we cannot have that kind of commentary, and we will probably bring back the chat for future days, but if this situation ever occurs again, we will be having to block it midstream every single time. So I hope people keep that in mind, as we do have a community guideline as a organization to follow, and that people be respectful to our players who are giving up their time to compete here. And regarding that, we do see a Diana Yasuo combo coming in from the red side, which is actually a really fun combo to see a lot. Both champions that can scale really hard and combo into each other incredibly well. Not incredibly commonly seen. And we do see Thresh being picked out again by Kyungmin or Nathan. And Ezreal also coming out. Ezreal has been picked once. We haven't really seen it to show to do like a significant amount in a lot of the games so far. But because Ezreal's not incredibly strong into the meta, as his damage does lackluster a lot, even though he has a good escape in a lot of situations, and he's an incredibly hard champion to play, and Jinx doesn't get banned out, so they will go for the Jinx pick. So it does seem like Diana jungle and Yasuo mid in the current state, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a Sion ban follows. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Malphite ban on blue side right now, as they wouldn't want to deal with the Malphite Diana Yasuo combo, but we shall see what their final decision is for this match, as now we are getting ready for blue side to make their fourth ban for the match. They will go with the Gwen actually. And now we will see what the last bans for both teams are, but so far, oh, and we actually see Zac banned out. So Olivia, how do you feel about the Zac ban coming out here?
I mean, I'm honestly pretty happy about it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like Zach was pretty neutral, to be honest. You know, I didn't really get to see a lot of the screen time,
Mhm.
but I don't think they're really losing anything by not getting to play Zach.
And Tom Kench being banned out too. So Tom
What do you think the
Kench.
mindset should be for Imagine Losing's team for this match?
I think Imagine Losing's team, honestly, so far looking into comp, I don't know if they really have the advantage. Annie and Thresh are incredibly strong picks, actually, but I think this Malphite Diana Yasuo
Mm,
combo could be really scary.
that is true. You did suggest that they ban Malphite, and
Did not ban Malphite, and Cody is incredibly comfortable on the Malphite pick, so they weren't able to take it for him on that side. I'm guessing that's the reason why they didn't ban it out, to try and get P-Boy 14 on this Malphite pick, but instead they will come out the Maokai. And unsure if that's jungle or top actually, but I think it will be jungle. Maokai's actually a great pick here though, because Maokai's roots can deny the combo from Diana Yasuo Malphite
Mhm.
if it can get any of the root value onto any of those champions though.
Well, Maokai kind of looks like Malphite's like long lost brother or something. They actually look
So Maokai's a
kind of
tree and
similar.
Malphite's a rock.
Mm.
Maybe that's why they look similar, like the elements. And Wukong being locked in. So Wukong we actually see again. Um, we haven't seen in the previous matches on Jax again too. So
Oh wow.
that's really interesting. I think it's Malphite support, which is an interesting flex pick. So I'm assuming Jax goes into the top lane, Diana jungle. Oh, actually, no, never mind. Diana jungle, Yasuo mid, and Jinx Malphite bot lane. So it's gonna be a little bit scary because Thresh doesn't deal with tanks very well. And Malphite is a tank support, unless he decides to go for the AP damage and poke more, but we should see an interesting game going in here. But honestly, red team, once again, Team Terexsims, they're running a team comp that's very hard to play, with the exception of the Malphite pick. So this combo is really strong if used properly, and even if you're behind, it will shred the fight. But the problem is, if it doesn't work out properly, even if you're in the lead, you can lose team fights very easily. So I can see they have a very clear direction. Get the Malphite and Diana in as aggressively as possible, and see if the Yasuo and Jinx can follow with us. The Yasuo, Jinx, and Jax can follow with the damage. Whereas I feel like Team Imagine Losing has a lot less direction, but they do have a lot of good disengage. So even if red team try and get their combo off, if the combo isn't perfected, they can escape and get out of the disadvantageous situation and make it advantageous for them knowing that there is a lack of abilities available on the enemy team. So we will see how both teams eventually do actually like make the decision to play it out. And we will have to wait for the spectator delay, but I we did see I think every single one of these champions with the exception of Yasuo before, so not a lot of new champions being thrown into the pool here, but I think that's more expected in general, more so than a lot of new champions having to come in. So my guess is throughout this whole tournament there were somewhere between like 80 to 90-ish champions that were involved, which is a pretty decent amount considering there were about 11 matches being played. And there's 10 picks and 10 bans, so that's 20 per 11 matches. So across 220, there was about 80 to 90 overlap. And considering there are 160 league champions, that's like half of them being used. So, which side, Olivia, do you find more attractive? Which side gives you the more vibes that you're like, you think like, oh, this side is definitely gonna win, just like off the looks. Like, I think like this team definitely has it going for them.
No, I mean, once again, I do think the red team has picked not only like a pretty strong looking team, but Very attractive looking team again. I don't know.
Mhm,
Might be like the hot buff maybe that the red team has
mhm.
in this championship, but I don't know. Do you disagree?
Um, honestly, I think I do generally agree as well though to that statement. And now we will
Yeah, I don't know.
be
The Wukong and Annie are just
not it.
yeah.
I mean, Annie is indeed a child, and Wukong is a monkey, so that is fair. And
Hmm.
we look at some of the skins here.
The Malphite skin and the Arcane Jinx.
It was a prestige Malphite skin, so I guess he
Yeah,
is a very avid Malphite player is going to be my guess here.
we'll have to see how he plays.
That is very true. As now we will be heading into the second match of our best of three finals. And genuinely really curious to see how these comps play out. Malphite support is definitely hasn't been played like at all this whole tournament. Malphite has only gone into the top lane. And if there's ever a 5v5 fight, red team should have a really big advantage just going in general. And I haven't seen Jaden on Yasuo in a while, so that's also gonna be fun to watch. Yasuo's always a fun champion to watch as he's a really hard to play champion, but if played right can be incredibly strong. Just absolutely sweep the lobby on his own. And let's look into some of the roaming around here. As they will just clear out their respective buffs with bot lane leashing for them, so a very standard jungle start for both teams. So the leash begins, and mid lane should be a little bit difficult for Yasuo in the early game, as he does not have the range, and yes, he does get immediately stunned out. And Maokai's actually going into the top lane here. I actually thought that Wukong might have gone top and that Malphite would go jungle, but I guess that's not the play call that the Taric Sims decided to go with. I mean, imagine losing decided to go with where. And we could see Maokai going down here, a little bit aggressive. The flash comes out, but he will survive. But Jax does have level 2, so that means Maokai will be losing this whole wave. Does choose to back safely. And so much trade damage coming out from Jaden on the Yasuo pick as well onto Annie. And it does seem to be going more towards the side of Taric Sims once again. Who won the first game? Yes, so the first game was won by the current red team, or the Taric Sims. And they are trying to end it in a quick 2-0 sweep. And an aggress coming in from the Yasuo, but the ignite comes out and the kill will not follow. But the game state's still looking so much better for red side, as a lot of their waves are pushing in and they are seeing CS leads now. And Diana also having a much faster clear right now as Wukong was forced, but a really good hook in from Kyungmin right through the minion wave, but the trade does not go in their favor as hooking Malphite just doesn't have a lot of value. An incredibly tanky champion that's hard to disrupt as he has that extra bonus shield. And we do see an engage onto the Maokai here. Red team trying to go aggressive, but I think they can be over aggressing here. They don't take any turret shots though, and River Sprite on the Wukong will also just back off. But it does seem like this game state is a lot more calmer than the last one. So how would you compare this game off of what you saw so far between the last game, Olivia?
I mean, I feel like in the last game, the current red team were progressing a lot faster than they currently are, even though, ooh,
And we do see first blood actually going over to
blood.
the blue team instead. It does seem like Diana or Chatma was trying to go a little bit too far in to try and take the enemy jungle camp, not knowing that the enemy team was all here ready for it, and it does seem like we may have a series on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, at the 10-minute mark in the last game, I believe the current red team had a much higher lead than they do have now, the 5-minute mark.
And a hook coming in from the Thresh, and so much damage. Everyone's incredibly low, but Chatmo is here on the Diana, and we could potentially be seeing a dive here as the wave is technically pushing in towards blue side, and they're going to have to stop this back if they want to get value out of this dive as much as possible. And they do show. The hook does land in from the Thresh, but the heal comes out, and Chatmo will flash out to safety, but River Sprite is here ready, and they do spot him out, and I think JR's brother on the Jinx will just back off and stay alive. So now it does seem like Imagine Losing do have they're settling down a little bit onto this comp a little bit better, especially than the last match so far, as they were really struggling to keep it together in a lot of the fights. They did hold on and grasp a lot of good fights even if they were behind, but now this time they're just able to get the early game lead. But it's hard to say if the game is already over, because still is that Diana Yasuo Malphite combo, and if that combo just succeeds, there's no way for blue team to get out of it. Even flashes won't help in those situations. So, but as you're getting a lot of tier stacks and also having the kill and assist, and we do see a lot of aggression coming from Jaden, and he will flash out safely though. Forces the flash out from River Sprite as well, and the ultimate from Ducky. So honestly, really good aggression there. If he died there, it would have not been ideal, but because he was actually able to survive, I think that's really good for his team, because not having flash on Wukong could be a little bit of a struggle later on. But not having flash on Yasuo is way less valuable to the team. And now Annie doesn't even have ult, so if Jane is just able to lifesteal a little bit, maybe he will go back in to try and get this fight off. He does have Vampiric Scepter. But as you said, it does seem like this game is a lot slower, and red team is not able to really make as much of a difference early on. And wow, Maokai just trading so much damage despite being 2 levels down. That's not fair at all, honestly. And now he's level 6, and I think he could probably just get this kill onto Jax. But Jax seems to be the one that's going aggressive, and I don't think Maokai has the mana to use ult. With ult available there though, I think he definitely would have been able to get that kill. And Ducky going aggressive, does flash forward, and the stun does land. I think Jaden does. Oh, the final auto attack.
Unlucky.
And we do see the Ezreal ultimate landing onto absolutely nothing. Which ultimate do you think is cooler, the Ezreal ult or the Jinx ult? So Jinx shot like a rocket, and Ezreal shoots like a beam.
I honestly think the Jinx rockets are like more entertaining to watch.
More entertaining to watch.
I don't know.
I see. I mean, I could agree with that, because the Jinx ultimate also explodes, while the Ezreal ultimate just kind of glides.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Ezreal and Lux, his ults give me similar vibes, and it was just
a light.
It doesn't really compare to Jinx. Yeah.
Oh, what a great hook from Nathan, but Justin immediately trades it out with the cleanse. So incredible reaction times and aim coming from both players, actually.
DK, what do you think the prettiest champion is right now
The prettiest
in this
champion
game?
in this game?
Yeah.
I'd have to say probably Diana.
Interesting chat move.
Yeah. I think Diana's got a lot of really great skins as well. And a really like a it's like about moonlight, you know? Like how beautiful is
Yeah,
that
you
concept?
definitely. Wow, you definitely give off Diana vibes.
Dang. Are you saying that I would be a Diana one trick?
I mean, you can say that.
I
I
take
won't
that
say it.
personally. I personally take that very personally.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say anything about the Moonlight, but it seems like you have very strong feelings about the Diana.
Oh wow, they're gonna actually go for this fight? I don't know if this is the move, and Yasuo's not on the same page,
Oh
just not ready
wow.
to use the ultimate, and this lead is just getting even bigger. But I think red team's out here is that they do have a better late game. So if they can just stall the game into the phase where they're stronger, I could still see this game going in their direction. I don't really like that tree. I think that tree is not fair. He's taking no
Nothing about League
damage.
is fair.
League is always,
Can't say something in League.
League needs fixing. Makai's always been a really solid champion. It's just no one ever really plays him because he's also not like the most fun champion to play. Oh, what a flash from both players. I have no idea what that was all about, but a solo kill for the top laner. And Jax will scale harder, so that's actually a really valuable kill for the Tarek Sims.
Really entertaining. Really entertaining back and forth.
Yeah, and I think Maokai loses some waves here, but no, Annie will come to teleport into the top wave to try and take it. And they actually don't have vision on the Jax, but Ducky knows he's in this bush because he didn't spot him walking even further down. But Jax does have the hop and will just get out. So no dragons taken yet, actually. Despite it being 12 minutes about into the game. So when you play League, how long do your games tend to be?
I honestly have to check. I have to check my match history. But while I check, I have another question.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the most or the best username right now in the match? Blue team and red team?
Best username? I don't know. I think everyone's username has some unique value to it though.
But choose one.
If I really had to pick a couple, I think I like the River Sprite name, as it reminds me a lot of and we will be tracking this Jinx rocket. Where is it going? And it does not land, but we will see a fight onto the bot lane right here. Malphite did ult in, and we do see a flash heal coming out from both the Ezreal Thresh. But in all honesty, yeah, River Sprite, I like it because as a TFT player myself, the River Sprite is such a cozy name.
You're not rocking with P-Boy 14?
P-Boy 14, you know, P-Boy 14 I feel like has the nostalgic value, you know, like those names you'd make when you first start playing in the game. That's your ultimate. He's so low. Could be a little bit tilted after that one. But hopefully our players are...
Your thoughts on his name?
On his name? His ability to survive there? No, that's the champion.
Dang.
The tree is just a little bit too strong in my opinion. But Jax is getting a lot of value here top actually. And Annie's walking up and I think he just gets stunned. He might die here.
Oh.
And no, it doesn't seem like he will. Oh, but he's taking so much damage and he will actually die. Yeah, he will die. And that means his team will be able to get the dragon here. It is Cloud, and we do see an Ezreal Q missing.
Wow, I mean, what are your thoughts on the route of the game now? Do you see blue team getting a lot more?
Yeah, I think they have a huge advantage now. 3,000 gold is hard to come back from, even with red team's comp right now. And it doesn't seem like red team is really on the same page with the combo. So I don't know if we'll actually even see it ever succeed in this match. And a little bit too deep from the Malphite, and he does flash out safely. The Ezreal follows, and so much damage coming out from blue side. And Diana will expend the ultimate, but does get thresh hooked, and that means Wukong goes back in, and so much damage coming out. So yeah, if they're missing the key components like Malphite and Diana, there's absolutely just nothing the red side can do. Especially when they're this far behind, and I think we're gonna see a lot of priority into Wukong in the third match. Cause we're clearly seeing that this Wukong pick is super disruptive for both teams. And honestly, I totally thought that the red team, instead of going with the Diana Yasuo, they could have just gone Wukong Yasuo as well, is what I was thinking.
I am surprised that they didn't choose Wukong a second time. Do you think anyone will try to ban Wukong?
I think Team Imagine Losing will be red side next game. They will be the ones most likely banning Wukong. As they do not have the first pick priority, so they are going to have to. And Fluffy Kitten probably a little bit stuck here, pinched here. But Chapmo is here ready to try and come and help. So much damage onto Ducky, and they will be able to get off the first kill. But Fluffy Kitten is a little bit over-aggressing potentially. The Tibbers is doing so much damage. But Jaden also here waiting to get something, and the Ezreal ultimate will not land. But he did see his life flash before his eyes for a second there for sure. And they do spot out River Sprite, but he's so strong. I don't know if they want to get this fight. And Chapmo's a little bit separated from the rest of the team. And the ultimate and the knockup doesn't land on too many players. But I think Chapmo has
really did run.
Wait, but Chapmo's ultimate available. I think they're gonna try and get the combo up. No, but it lands onto the Jax because he flashes out, and I don't know if that's what exactly they wanted to go for. And once again, not on the same page. This Yasuo Diana combo, it's not working exactly how they want it to. The Malphite going back in, but once again, Jaden not ready with the ultimate, and the Yasuo ultimate just, we haven't seen it ever being used here, and he will just win one out, but he will also go down. And I think the Jinx will follow as Wukong just doing so much damage. It's hard to see Wukong not getting any priority towards the next game, as in both games, Wukong's value was absolutely ridiculous.
Did we see Wukong picked in any of the previous matchups before?
Not picked nor banned. No, not at all. Wukong was untouched before today. I wonder if this will change people's opinions on Wukong a little bit.
This championship stream alone changes the entire reputation of Wukong.
I mean, personally, I do really enjoy playing Wukong in a lot of my matches when I do get the jungle role. But Chapmo maybe gonna go down to Tibbers, the last auto and the Airy, but it's not enough. He's surviving with such little HP.
Wow.
He has how much HP? 30 HP. And the Ezreal ultimate not gonna land.
Wow, Chapmo really.
That's for sure a scary moment for anybody, but he does survive. But instead, his teammate will go down 17-3. A completely switched situation from the last game. So I guess blue side was actually the better side to go for, but Imagine Losing instead decided to pick the red side. And it could potentially cost them the whole series, as they will be once again on the red side in the third match. And that means they lose priority towards their first pick, so they won't be able to grab Wukong. But honestly, seeing how well that the red team scales into the late game, if they can just stay alive and not die, If they can just stay alive, they can totally stay in this game if they just tunnel in and clear out the minions, get as much experience and gold as you can safely without risking anything. But instead we
The
see
blue team
Inferno.
is very coordinated in that 3v1
Yep,
chat mode jump.
chat mode jump. If you can
How
see
do you
that,
feel about Diana going down?
I mean, I think Diana's not a really strong champion right now. So to actually see
No.
Diana being played more than Wukong was quite shocking to me in this tournament.
I mean, I meant in the regard that, like, Diana is the prettiest, in my opinion.
Yeah, but pretty doesn't win you games, I guess.
That's true. Pretty privilege does not exist in League.
Unfortunately, no. Unless you're Ari. Because Ari has an ability that is literally based off of her pretty privilege.
That is true. I'm not sure. What do you think about Wukong's pretty privilege, though?
I don't know. You really didn't like the Wukong aesthetic before, but does your mind change at all after watching his? Oh, and Malphite ults, but does not get it. But does your opinion at all on Wukong change after seeing him perform so well across these two matches?
I mean, I prefer to separate aesthetics from ability, so I'm gonna stick to my original opinion. Wukong's still a little... Still could use some work, maybe.
I see, I see.
Ooh, Chatmo again! Oh.
Nah, the hook won't land.
Yeah.
But Fluffy Kitten is a little bit stuck out here. I think he's gonna go down because rest of the blue team is here ready, and all 5 players are here just to kill him, and he will go down. That Maokai's ult value is ridiculous, and it does seem like this match is just completely gone now, as I don't think I see an out for red team anymore. And I think we have a map 3 coming in. And now
Blue team very coordinated in jumping the other team when they're alone.
it's the guerrilla warfare style. They have a tree and a monkey, so it works for them.
Oh wow, we see Chatmo once again.
Chapma wants some of it, but he can't. It's too
Diana's risking it all.
dangerous for the Baron, but Baron will go over to the blue team unless Jinx Rocket? Jinx Rocket? Jinx Rocket? No. Jinx Rocket will land, but will not take the Baron.
The timing was so close.
Yeah. Just like 3 seconds too late.
Ooh, a hot take. My bad, my bad.
I mean, in League where a game where 0.1 second matters, 3 seconds is actually a lot. But it's hard to see that. I don't know. I feel like Wukong will just steamroll the whole lobby. And Ezreal's actually doing quite well too. Even though Ezreal, I believe, is not like a really strong champion either.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised to see KD Kali pick Ezreal.
Yeah, Ezreal. Oh, and Jax is getting hunted once
man.
again by this Annie.
Fluffy Kitten is...
It's deja vu. How many times are we seeing this story?
Moment.
I mean, Jax struggles to deal with Annie because a lot of his abilities dodge auto attacks, but Annie doesn't rely on auto attacks, and they go aggressive here, but Jaden's not ready with the ultimate once again, but there's 2 players up here. I think red team could get an out here if they're able to get any kills, but... And the Yasuo finally comes out, but I think Maokai will go down.
Goes down. Oh.
And that's a shutdown over to the Yasuo, but I think he will follow right after, as this Annie is here with so much damage.
Wow.
And he misses the Q. And that was the first time I think we saw Yasuo ultimate that whole game. I feel like red team, I like the direction they took with their team comp. I just don't think the execution was there.
Yeah, it seemed promising, as you said, if they were able to coordinate it really well, but
And they are teleporting out to safety. And Nathan will just back in front of everyone. And I think the third Drake also goes down. It is Hex Hex Soul, which means it provides bonus cooldown reduction or ability haste and attack speed.
oh, we're seeing all players coming down.
And Justin is caught out here. And
Almost.
they don't
It's
even
kind of funny
need.
seeing them bully. Yeah, they're like bullying each individual.
It's because red team is playing too split apart. Their team relies
Yeah.
heavily on playing together, but they're not able to do that at all. And they're making a lot of just solo plays. And Chatma also getting hunted down.
Wow. I mean, the bullying hunting tactic is really working for the blue team, though.
And it does seem like this will rely heavily on just the final match to determine the winner. And I guess blue side supremacy.
Wow. Imagine losing.
Between blue and red, which color do you prefer?
Red.
Red?
They go for the Jinx.
They're gonna hunt the Jinx and the Yasuo, but Jaden is
Wow,
up,
and the
but he's
Nexus is-
taking so much damage and the Nexus is going down in the process. The Jinx is trying to do so much damage to the Annie, but the Jinx doesn't even get the final kill and the match just ends there. As yes, we will be prepared for our last match here soon. As we will get all of the players back into the lobby to give them a quick update on our status and the direction of the match we will be going with. Alright, great job of match to everyone. We will be moving on to match 3 at 9:45. So if everyone could reconvene there, and we will have Tarek Sims on the blue side again and Imagine Losing on the red side. But see you all in 7 minutes.
At the height of a lion, I know the harder you climb, the harder you fall. I'm at the top of the mountain, too many bodies to count. I've been through it all. I had to weather the storm to get to the level I'm on. That's how the legend was born. All of my enemies already dead. I'm born, I'm ready for war. They know I'm ready for war. I told them. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now. We're taking over. Maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
What are you willing to lose? You cover your wounds, but underneath them, a million voices in your head that whisper, stop now. Another twist of the knife, a turn of the screws, it's all in your mind, and it's fighting you. Arm yourself, the storm is coming. Wow, kid, what you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly, fly, phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then take you gonna do now? It's your reflection looking back to pull you down. So are you gonna die today or make it out alive? You gotta conquer the monster in your head and then you'll fly, fly, Phoenix fly. It's time for a new empire. Go bury your demons, then tear down the ceiling, Phoenix fly.
never see it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking. Don't ever see it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking. On a mission and get high up. I know that I'ma die, reaching for a lot that I don't really need at all. Never listen to replies, learn the lesson from the wise. You should never take advice from a nigga that ain't tried. They said I wouldn't make it out alive. They told me I would never see the rise. That's why I gotta kill 'em every time. Gotta watch 'em bleed too. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing.
We see 2 ADCs, 2 jungles, 2 tops. We are waiting on a support and mid. But once that final decision comes out, we can start the match. And now we go into the final match of our League of Legends tournament completely. The winner takes all match. And now we do see the Terexim's getting the blue side, so Annie immediately banned out. No surprise there.
Trauma.
No, for real. They definitely felt that one. And Blitz staying banned. So, both teams seem to have a taste of what the other team can do on specific champions, so their bans seem very focused around that situation. I wonder if Red Team will actually ban Wukong. Like, I'm genuinely wondering that, because I feel like they potentially could not, and just try and hope that it drops to them. And we see the Draven Xayah coming out. Xayah and Draven have both been very consistently banned out, actually, so they're not champions we shall ever see today. And then Veigar ban. So I guess they thought that Veigar was a little bit of a problem from the previous game. Veigar is actually a pretty popular pick. Not an incredibly hard champion to play and scales well, and has really good teamfight value with the Nox, with the trap that he can provide with the stun through his E. And the third ban for red team will be Silas, so Wukong is still open on the table. And let's see what blue side decides to go for their first pick, as it's an incredibly viable pick, obviously, right? Because you are free to any champion that isn't banned in the first 6 bans. And you could prevent your enemy from taking whatever champion you pick as well. And we do see Wukong coming out. No surprise there.
Wukong just getting passed around.
Yeah, and honestly, Wukong is an incredibly strong champion in the meta right now, and not an incredibly hard champion to play either. And we do see Ezreal being hovered. So we are seeing both teams trying to imitate their winning formula as much as possible, as you can see. Whatever worked for our team, let's try and run that back again for our last match and see if we can get that momentum up as we were before. So Ezreal Thresh once again coming out. So incredibly curious to see what will come out after this Ezreal Thresh. But I think what blue side will do here is pick their ADC and their support. So champions are Jinx is open still. Kaisa's open still. Oh, Morgana! Oh,
Oh,
Jinx!
Jinx.
We did see Jinx coming out again. And then they will most likely pick their support here. So against Thresh, Morgana's actually not a bad pick at all. I wonder if they will actually decide to go with the Morgana pick. But I think they will go for their support pick here. There is potential in Maokai. Malphite again, also. There is potential in a different hook. Oh, but Maokai, I'm getting pretty good at predicting this drafts. But, and I do assume that red team will go for a jungler here. So my guesses are Vi is an option here, Jarvan is an option here, but I don't know if they will play those champions because it could not be comfortable for them. So I could see Lee Sin being picked here potentially, as Ducky is really comfortable on the Lee Sin pick. Oh, but Jarvan actually is picked. And it seems like both teams are staying pretty heavily reliant actually to the metagame right now. And very curious to see what the last two bans will be. It will be entirely towards top and mid. I'm surprised that's a Tom Kench ban actually. Because the only lanes really left should be top mid. Actually, Maokai could be flexed into top, but I would not expect that. Because if you flip Maokai into top, that gives counter pick potential to the enemy team. But Maokai's a really good pick in that it can be flexed. And Sion ban coming out as well. So flex picks are like picks that can go into multiple different roles. So for example, like you said you play Garen mid, right? So
Yeah.
in that case, that'd be a flex pick because most people would expect Garen to be either top or bot lane. And when you pick Garen and they see that, they would think, oh, okay, it's a Garen top, so we should pick, for example, Teemo top. And then your teammate who's in top lane could just pick a counter to Teemo because the Teemo came out early.
Like the worst champion you play with typically.
Hmm.
One that you would never want to play against.
Yeah. Flex picks are really valuable for that reason, so.
Wait, I was asking you.
Oh, what were you asking? You cut off.
Oh, I was asking who would you not want to play against? Which champion?
I feel like right now, in all honesty, Jarvan and Vi were the two champions that I would hate to play against the most because of their strength in the meta. But not only that, they're not like incredibly hard champions to use mechanically either. And we do see Talia being played. That's the first time we've actually seen Talia. So despite a lot of champions we've seen before coming out, Talia is new. So in the very last match, we see a new champion. Talia scales really hard into the late game, but I don't know if red team will be doing okay with this because Ezreal and Talia are really hard champions to play. And they both rely heavily on landing your abilities on the enemy. And we see Camille for the first time. I think Camille is actually a very underrated champion in the top lane. So I actually really like blue side's draft right now. But I don't think red side's draft is bad, at least because of the Jarvan and Talia picks. My only problem with red side's draft right now is probably Ezreal. I think Ezreal came out too early, and I don't think Ezreal has that much value to the point where it'd have to be picked that early, and we do see a Kali coming out onto Jaden. And for the last champion, who will we see? Kennen. So it does seem like it is Maokai support indeed, and this is the final top lane pick as Jarvan will go into the jungle most likely here. And we do see Kennen being locked in. So right now, my biggest problem with red team's draft right now is they're very ability damage focused right now. They don't have a lot of attack damage. While on the other hand, blue team's draft is not very AP heavily reliant. So we're really seeing the matchup between is magic damage or attack damage more valuable right now.
I mean, in the last game, didn't you like the current blue team's draft better?
Yeah, I did, but
But
they lost
maybe,
regardless. That's true.
yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see a comeback from the red team's
But
draft.
I think with the exception of the Ezreal and maybe half the Akali pick, I really do like all the other picks in this game. I think
Mm.
everyone stayed very faithful to the metagame and they really knew what direction they were trying to go for with their team comp. So I think red team is gonna have to really focus on keeping their Ezreal and Talia alive for as long as possible because champions like Wukong, Camille, and Akali can jump into the backline really easily. So it's all up to Thresh and Jarvan to try and keep their backline alive for as long as possible, and then Kennen to get a flank on that aggressive push that blue team goes with, and see if they can combo off of that kind of situation. See if they can get a counterplay in any sort of way.
Have Talia and Cannon been picked in previous matches? I feel like I haven't really seen a ton of them
Kennen has been
in
in
the
one match,
games.
I believe, but
Mm.
Talia we have not ever seen. Yes, that is true.
Interesting how the red team's been picking a lot of new champions.
Yep. And Camille's actually also a new pick here.
Hmm. Do you like Camille better or Diana? I feel like they're both pretty, like, just like aesthetic wise, very similar.
Yeah. Based off aesthetics, so now, what is your analysis on these group of five?
Wait. My question first, Camille or Diana?
I think Camille wins by a slight margin, but over that,
Wait, why?
I think over that, Akali even more.
Hmm. Wait, but why is Camille better than Diana? Like,
What makes what?
what makes her better? Like, why would you pick Camille over Diana?
I don't know. I genuinely don't even have like a
You
qualm
just
specifically about like anything. Like it's just I just look at them and I just think I would prefer Camille over Diana. I don't know how to explain it.
mm,
There's just no other
that's a
commentary beyond
little.
that.
That sounds a little weird. I don't know. It's
I
like
don't know. There's just no reason. Why do you prefer Diana over Camille?
I don't prefer them equally. Actually, I feel like
Mm.
they look too nice. Oh, someone just PM'd me saying he thinks Camille is cuter for sure.
Who is saying this? That is
uh,
slander.
One of our viewers, but I don't know.
So, honestly, looking into who I think is gonna win, in all honesty, I think blue side has the advantage here. I do like blue side's draft more,
Mm,
so I will go with the blue side here. I think they have a more set formula on like what their win condition was, and they have a better identity towards playing this comp, and we have more experience witnessing how this team has played this comp, and in most cases it has been successful. So I think it is a safer pick to go with the blue team here. And looking
mm.
into some of the skins here,
Wow, the skins are really nice. The Coven,
the
Talia,
Maokai, a
Katie,
fan
Akali.
favorite,
Yeah, okay. Wow.
but a
I
lot of
honestly
great
do like the
skins.
blue team because of the Wukong, honestly. I
The
feel like
Wukong,
Wukong has been on the winning team in each of these matches, so
you are indeed speaking facts here as oh, and
oh, thank you very much.
we will be trying to
Wow, that Meowkai is really very eye-catching.
scoreboard will be shown here as we reorganize the teams by their roles.
30 seconds until minions
And
spawn.
Do you think you could give us a Meowkai impression?
a Maokai
Or
impression?
how
I
you
don't even know what
Yeah.
Maokai says though.
Oh,
I
I
just
mean like based off the skin, I mean like what do you think he would sound like? You
Like,
know?
what I think Maokai would sound like?
Yeah, like based off the skin.
I don't. But Maokai has like a low voice. He's like a tree, you know. So even with the
But
cat, I feel like he would have a
that's
low voice still.
true. Can you try that? I'm not really sure what that would sound like.
I don't know. What would Maokai say? Give me that. Give me a statement that you
I
think Maokai would say.
I definitely asked you that. So
I don't know what Maokai says though. If I
not
knew,
no,
I would.
just thinking about the skin, you know, it's okay.
And we do.
It's disagreeable right now.
Nah, I just don't know what he would say. I would do an impression if I knew. If you gave me a statement to say. But we are seeing an interesting comp from both sides. I'm actually genuinely really curious how this Wukong Jarvan matchup is, because we haven't seen it a lot in pro play either, but it has been said a lot around the League of Legends community that these are two of the strongest junglers along with Vi in the metagame right now. And we see Jarvan going for early level 2 gank here, and Maokai does not stop the Jarvan, and actually Jinx will get no! Ezreal will flash forward and get the first blood. But Maokai gets the push of the Jarvan in, but will not be able to get the kill. But Jaden getting real aggressive onto Talia here, and Talia just scales incredibly well.
Red team really asserting dominance with that first blood.
And we will have to see what can Wukong do though.
Comeback.
I mean, red teams are the favorites so far, as they are the team that didn't go undefeated in the regular season.
That's true, but isn't the blue team or the draft for the blue team currently the commentator's favorite?
Yes, it is indeed. It is indeed the commentator's favorite, but the commentator doesn't know everything, you know. The commentator just commentates.
Speaking facts right now. We're speaking facts right now. That's.
Also, the commentator is no better than Silver, so. Ultimately, even if the commentator does a lot of draft analysis, the fact is that he is only Silver, and we do see a trade of kills between the Camille and the Kennen, but that trade is actually better for the blue team, because even if they attracted 2 players up there, the Wukong actually got assist gold as well. And since Wukong already completed his clear and he will also take the scuttle, he's not really missing out on anything by being forced to help the top lane, really. And Jarvan is spotted out here. And we do see a lot of damage coming up, but Wukong's...
Chadmo getting revenge from last game.
Chadmo does have the level advantage here, so there is no reason for him to lose that. And well, Maokai gets hooked in, might go down here, I think. Takes a lot of damage. The PTA Ezreal with the ignite. And it does seem like Ezreal's value is showing here in the early game, as Maokai is a little bit rough to play against Ezreal. So
how you were very anti-Ezreal though.
Maokai's strength is good against the Thresh, but Ezreal's poke value against a champion like Maokai does make it really difficult for him to play the lane. But I think, despite Maokai's weakness early on, I think when we get to the later stage of the game, we will see that there could be a potential comp difference. As long as blue team doesn't let this game get too far ahead of them, I think they should still be able to come back and win this game. And we see a lot of trade damage coming out, but that minion wave should be doing so much damage to the Camille. Going a little bit too aggressive here, maybe?
Chadmo taking a lot of...
And the first strike gold and damage is incredibly valuable. And Jaden getting poked down quite a lot too. And It does seem like game state is a little more stabilized. Only a 900 gold difference though. Shouldn't be too big of an issue for both sides so far. It doesn't seem like CS is a huge issue for any of the lanes as well. Oh, but sudden jump scare of a boom plant coming in from 2 players from the red
The
side.
bullying tactic coming back.
I mean, bot lane is very heavily played around in pro play as well, so not super surprised to see that the junglers are heavily favoring bot side to try and help out there. And Akali does use the teleport to get back into the lane. Goes for the Hextech Alternator, probably will go for a Protobell here. And so, I think the biggest problem here for red side right now is that Camille does have a pretty considerable advantage against this cannon. And honestly, I feel like if Camille just expends the ultimate, might have had a lot of kill pressure there, but instead will play it a little bit safer. And Jarvan is nearby. But it makes sense that Camille wouldn't over-aggress because there's not a lot of vision towards top side of the jungle. So Camille's probably quite scared that Jarvan could be nearby, which he actually is right now. And does land the E.
And
well, all the damaging chitter right back from Ducky.
Chapman.
Oh, we have a 2v2 fight here potentially going between both sides. Oh, but an incredibly strong knockback from Ducky, but he does get landed by the Akali ultimate. And Jaden able to get that kill. And I think P-Boy will follow potentially here. He is only level 4. I don't know why he's excessively over-aggressing for this kill.
Jaden is level 7, that's...
Chapmo might go down here, but no, he
Chapmo.
has the clone, so I don't think he will actually. I think he should be able to survive here. But Kennen is here. Do they know this? Because Kennen does have flash available. Kennen has flash available, but Kennen doesn't spot the Wukong and will instead chase the Akali. And does go for the flash. And Jaden also expends the flash. But he's so incredibly low. One more auto will do it. And Talia's coming here with the ultimate. And I think that is just a kill going over for the Talia. And yes, that is. And an assist going over to Kennen as well. But honestly, I don't know if that was necessarily worth it from the side of Talia to expend the Talia ultimate as well to finish off the kill. And for both Kennen to expend flash and ultimate to try and get that as well. And now he even uses his teleport. So a lot of summoner spells used there. Ultimately they did get the kill, so that is value in itself. But I don't know if it was worth what they did spend. And ouch, the Ezreal ultimate. Getting some poke damage onto the Jinx here. And if Nathan can get a strong hook here, they should be able to get an engagement. No, Chapmo is hovering around the bot side jungle, but P-Boy is actually pretty close by too. So if you can get good counter jungle timing, it shouldn't really make a huge difference right now. And yep, we do see red side spot lane just going back home to their base.
Do you have any predictions for either team, the trajectory of the game?
It does seem like both junglers are actually playing really aggressive towards the lanes and not clearing out very fast. And if that is the case, I do feel like Jarvan's value is higher than Wukong's currently. But with the exception of that, I feel like despite red side having a gold advantage, this difference in top side is making it really hard for us to really say that red side's advantage even is an advantage right now. And Ezreal will fall off a little bit, while as Jinx will be flying away at some point in the game, especially in team fights, if blue team could even get a singular kill. And blue team will be the ones actually starting the dragon here, but P-Boy14 is here, and I think they're just forced to back off here. But Jinx does have a level advantage, and they actually have a people's advantage too, as Talia is towards the top side, not having her ultimate even available to be able to come and help for this. So I think blue side could have just forced the Drake here, but they choose not to and just back off to safety and get vision cleared out. And P-Boy14, if he does try and get this vision in the Dragon's Pit, I think he will most likely go down. So he does choose to not go for it yet and play a little bit more safely. And Jaden will get spotted towards the mid lane. And Nathan sitting in this bush, if he's able to get a good hook landed onto the Jinx, but Maokai takes the damage and the hook damage, and the Jinx will land the ultimate, but 3 people hovering around bot side, and a really good sacrifice I think coming in from the Maokai though. In that situation, when you can't really survive, it's probably best to just invest in your carry and have them get solo experience and gold and just die for them. And we do see the dragon being hit right now, but Jaden is instead going to go for the Ezreal. But he's not able to land the E, so it won't even matter, but heal will be expended, and I think red side will have to back off from this Drake, but no, instead they just decide to keep hitting it, and it doesn't really matter. And that is Hex Tech Dragon going over to Imagine losing. So with that, the game state changes a little bit, because Hex Tech's value on Ezreal is incredibly large. And Nathan does go for the flash, but he will not land it, and that's a lot of aggro towards the bot side, and they're not able to get anything out of it. And even, if anything, forcing out a flash from Team Imagine losing right now. But now this top lane gap is actually decreasing. Most likely from the fact that Kennen has a whole item while Camille is still sitting on one. And Camille is able to dodge the Kennen ultimate and stun through her ultimate. And Kennen misses the Q, but the stun lands. And I think Camille does go down here, a solo kill. And that makes it really difficult for, I think, the red team to stay, for the blue team to actually stay a little bit matching in the situation. They're going to have to play from behind more now. And there's going to be a 2v2 fight here. And Kennen does so much AP damage. But he will flash out. I think Akali gets that kill, and that's a shutdown kill going over to Akali. Akali, when having an advantage, can scale up incredibly well. So we're going to have to see what Jaden can do in this 2v1 situation. He does not have the shot, uses the flash, does actually land the shuriken, but will not go back in. And the W landing in from the Jinx, and she does have rocket available, but maybe doesn't trust the damage of the rocket yet to use on the Thresh, and Nathan will just back off a little bit. But will we see a Jinx ultimate being shot up? And I guess not, as they will just farm the tower instead. They are getting 2 plates, potentially even 3, as they are clearing this wave slowly but surely. And we do see Talia and Kennen choosing to switch spots a little bit, and the Rift Herald claimed by blue side will be dropped here. So I think blue side actually will have a gold advantage after this Rift Herald, and nope, it's a 300 gold difference, but this fight between Talia and Camille is definitely usually easier to manage from the side of Camille. But we're actually seeing a pretty close match so far between both sides. And I would say red team's scariest player that they have to deal with right now is this Akali and Jaden, but he does get out safely. Akali, being the assassin and the carry that she is, can also steamroll the game all by herself. And the Wukong value is not showing up as much as the previous games, but the Thresh will not land. And Chapma trying to get out with the clone. Does he have ultimate available? He does, but why? I don't know why he went back in, and he used the flash, but will not get over the wall. And a little bit of a mistake there, I think, coming in from Chapma, as I think if he just decided to walk out, his team was in a pretty good situation to make a turnaround later in, but he goes in a little bit too aggressive there after flashing and missing the flash out of the Dragon's Pit. But so much trade damage coming from the Jinx, so yeah, the Jinx is starting to scale in a little bit better than Ezreal. Jarvan is towards the bot side. I don't know if bot side will be able to get out. And so much damage from Jaden, a free solo kill onto the cannon. He doesn't even need to use the second ultimate. And I think we could potentially just see this Akali just roll the game all by herself, as we have another fight towards the top lane. Ducky's forced to flash out. He probably does have the W waiting, but it doesn't seem to be up yet. But he does get the knockback, but he most likely will go down as the Camille stun lands. He decides to go golden, but not sure why he decided to use that there, as it's not going to get any value, as there's no one on his team waiting around here. And Kyungmin gonna go down, and there's gonna be a reset. There's a Jinx, but Ezreal damage is so ridiculous, and it doesn't even matter, as Essence Reaver crit has been on the side of this Ezreal pick more, and a double kill going over. So it does seem like it's going to most likely be a matchup between who can carry harder, the Ezreal or the Akali.
Oh, DK, you want to take a sip of water after that? That was some rapping.
Hey, gotta cover every single play that's happening.
No, I appreciate it. You should try out for like Show Me the Money or something.
I cannot rap to rhythm. That is the problem. But I think Ezreal will go down here, and that's a huge shutdown going over for Jaden on the Akali pick, as yes, he will go down. But there are teleports coming in from the red side to try and catch Jaden off. And Jaden does spot the pink ward, so he knows that he's spotted here. He's gonna try and do whatever he can to survive. Is his ultimate up? Yes, it is. His ultimate is up. It's a
unfortunate.
It's a 1v4 situation. If he has the ultimate, he could try and stall this death as much as possible, though. And will his shot be back up? It is back up, and they're going to try and do whatever they can. And Jaden actually might be able to almost get out here, but no, not quite. But he is able to stall for a lot of time, as the rest of his team is claiming so much gold, especially towards the top side as the turret goes down into top. And now the gold lead going over to blue side. But now we do see red side being able to hover over the Infernal Drake as they try and take their second dragon after the kill onto the Akali. So Jaden just created so much time and pressure for his team right there, using the momentum and movement that Akali can provide to get out of a lot of tough situations. And it does seem like the Jinx Rocket is actually going to steal the dragon! He actually stole the dragon! What in the world? And that's so much value going over to blue team.
The Jinx Rocket finally.
The Jinx Rocket finally shows up, and actually huge. This could be completely game changing, as infernal value for both teams is insane, as Ezreal, Jinx, Akali, Kennen, Talia all value incredibly from an Infernal Drake, and it does go over to the Tarek Sims, and I feel like Team Imagine losing could be a little bit tilted after that one.
Oh, we have a few viewers who are concerned about your voice, commentator.
Do not worry about my voice. My voice is quite alright. I just gotta hype up the hype moments, as we didn't really see a lot of this in a lot of the previous matches that we've hosted so far. But this is the first steal we actually see.
I think this is the closest match we've watched.
Yeah, especially today, but
two were just, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely.
After all the Jinx rockets going through top lane, this one was really... I bet the Jinx really feels good about that.
No, I bet the Jinx is really feeling himself right now. And now we see an aggressive by Jaden onto 3 people, but they are a little bit scared here. And the Rift Herald will go over to the blue side, and that is also a Rift buff over towards blue. And that means Tarek's in a really good situation. Kyungmin going for an aggressive push, and Talia following right after. And Maokai is going to try and get out of this flash out, but so much damage coming in, and the Ezreal ultimate also coming in to make sure the kill comes out even. But Camille coming into the aggress onto KDA Akali with the Ezreal pick, and now nothing's able to happen. Jaden trying to get a 1v3 situation. He immediately gets a kill onto the Thresh, and Talia able to get the knockup. But Chapmo is here ready to come and get into the fight, and P-Boy14 and Ducky are just forced to get out of the situation. And then we see another Jinx Rocket being launched, but this time it does not find its mark. And as you can see, we're like seeing so much presence by the Akali here, and the Camille even, as no matter how strong the Ezreal is, the problem with Ezreal is that even with the escapes, champions like Camille and Wukong deny that escape, and same with Akali as well. So honestly, it's more beneficial in this situation, I think, for red team's team comp to pick an ADC that can deal heavy damage and kite a lot better than Ezreal does. So a champion, for example, Ashe would be a great pick, for example, being able to slow the enemy champions and get a lot of information and vision knowledge about where the positions of enemies are. Or a champion more like that can be more aggressive, like maybe Samira, or maybe a champion like Callista as well that can do a lot of kite value. But instead they decide to go with this Ezreal pick, and I feel like that's honestly the biggest issue for this red team's team comp right now. Despite the Ezreal getting all the kills that he was in the early game, he's not able to capitalize it due to the fact that the enemy's team comp runs champions like Maokai, Wukong, Akali, Camille. So he has no proper clean out with just his E, which is his blink ability. And we see Jaden trying to go for another kill here, but I think he will just back off after seeing the teleport. He does have the second ultimate available, and yes, he will back off. But River's trying to go in. They're actually going to try and dive. And Ducky going a little bit too far in. I don't know if he has the damage to clean it up, but he actually does. And he is a little bit stuck here, though. And Jinx Rocket will be shot again. Once again, will not land onto its target. And Ducky will just get the Jinx out and actually flash out safely, as Maokai is forced to back off, knowing that there are 3 players on the enemy team hovering around this. But this actually a really great aggress coming in from both the Kennen and the Talia to try and get that dive onto the Akali. I actually did not think they would have the damage to be able to clean it up, but they definitely did. And on the other hand, blue side's able to get so much value here, getting the teleport out of red side here, and the W will actually not land because of that last minion right there, but it doesn't seem to really matter as 4 turrets on the side for the blue team right now. And
Oh wow.
we should see. Oh, Chapmo might be overstaying here, but I don't think. I don't think red team. I don't think red team has what it takes to get these kills though. I feel like Camille and Wukong do have good enough escapes and disengages to be able to just get out safely, but I don't think this Rift Herald will be able to do anything.
That is true. Camille's also level 14 versus the.
And they just absolutely ganged up on Shelly, and Shelly didn't get to do anything. But now people are aggressing onto the Maokai here. It's a 5v2, I think, and Riverside and people are gonna have to try and do whatever they can to disengage by the teleport coming in. And Ezreal ultimate lands onto 3, but he will blink out to safety. But Jaden going to follow right after on the Akali pick and trying to. Jaden's doing so much damage. The Jinx Rocket is not going to land, and blue team is missing the champion, so you're able to make this fight work. And Jaden getting ignited. They have the vision onto him, and he will go down, and he will be traded out. And that's one player going down on both sides. But there are a lot of players low, and we see the Shirelles being used by Thresh, and the Cataclysm that comes out from Jarvan will land onto the Maokai, and we see a hook actually landing right onto the Jinx, but Jinx will cleanse out, but it doesn't really matter as a triple kill going over to the cannon. And blue team, red team found a really good opportunity to fight there, and blue team was caught completely off guard, and I think maybe potentially the Akali aggressed a little bit too far there. And that's just Baron going over, I think, for the red side, and they're just going to have to watch it go down. And now the gold lead is absolutely non-existent, but once this Baron goes down, it should be about a 2,000 gold lead for the red side. But Jaden spots that they're incredibly low. People 14 might die to the Baron buff here, and he actually gets executed right here. And will Jaden try and get the steal? He's able to get it! What is this? No, red team's actually able to get the Baron, but they're going to clean up the kills right after. And now KD Akali just trying to get out of this situation as much as possible, and they're completely, absolutely ridiculous gameplay coming out, but a really great play coming from Jaden on the Akali. He almost steals the Baron away, but will be able to clean up 3 players right after. And I think that means blue team, knowing that red team is all down, they're just going to be able to walk into the base for now. Probably going to be able to clear up the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor as well into mid. And absolutely insane gameplay. They are going to aggress onto Fluffy Kid in here, and he is going to be CC chain, and he will use the ultimate, but will go down regardless, and the Ezreal ultimate being expended right here. But So the reason why that was hyped despite the lack of a steal was because 4 players on red side were going to try and rush down the Baron, but they weren't able to rush down the Baron, and Akali just walked right into the pit and was able to get so much damage off, and if he was actually even able to steal it, it would have even been more ridiculous, as that would have been approximately, I think, 2 or 3 Baron buffs for his team. But regardless of really good play coming in from the Akali. So we have a question. If someone is channeling in a bush, does the enemy team see them? Depends on the presence of a ward in there. So wards are like beacons that give you vision around it. So if you don't have a ward in that bush, you will not be able to see them. And we do see Maokai potentially being caught out here, but instead he decides to ward it back off. And the gold lead is actually non-existent. It's completely even, and I think we don't see Dragon actually being hovered up yet with the timers, but once it is up, we should be seeing an absolute fight coming in from right there. And a lot of hovering towards the bot side, and we do see a split push from Camille. It's hard to match Camille's split push because of her strength to fight in 1v1 situations, especially against champions like Ezreal. Talia will not be able to do much, and Ducky tries to get a flank onto the blue team, but they do instead turn it on to Ducky, but the Cataclysm lands up to Jinx, and the Ezreal ultimate follows right after, and a teleport coming in from the Camille, but I don't know if they can switch anything up with the situation. They will have to rely on this Akali damage, and Jaden trying to do whatever he can on this Akali to get as much damage off as possible, but the cannon goes down, and we are following up right after with a lot of damage. The second ultimate comes in from the Akali, but Ezreal is still alive, and blue team is just gonna have to disengage. Maokai flashes out, and 3 players still alive for the red side, while 2 players alive on the blue side, and a fight traded out for both sides pretty evenly, but Kyomi might be a little bit over aggressive, as Camille could technically get the assassination on him if he decides to over aggressive, and instead both sides decide to just back off. But I think the fact that they didn't decide to go into Ezreal immediately was the main reason why blue team lost that fight, and that I think is most likely a dragon going away, unless maybe a potential another Jinx rocket here. Jinx ult is not up yet. We are waiting on it in about 5 seconds, but they will have to back off, and I think Camille is actually just going to hit this, and I don't know if that is the move though. Your jungler's not up yet, and you might have to wait for this, and 2 teleports coming in from the red side. And do we see Jinx rocket used again? Ah, the Jinx rocket will not steal it, but it was only at 100 HP after the W, and we do see cannon being completely bursted down by the Akali, and now Akali will potentially go down, but does go golden against this Jarvan, and red team trying to disengage as much as possible, but Jaden will be chased down by this Jarvan, and I think blue team might be a little bit over aggressing, but no, Jinx is able to get the reset, and maybe Jarvan will follow right after. The dash does go through, and Jinx doesn't have the rocket to be able to clean it up right after. And this match is so incredibly close, but blue team does have a half-open Nexus where only 2 Nexus turrets remain in towards the mid lane, and I think blue team should just be able to take these bot lane turrets, as they will go for the tier 2 bot lane turret. And we are going to see what is, and yep, they do decide to clear up this tier 2 bot lane turret. And the Ezreal ultimate does land. Jaden is incredibly low, and they're trying to aggress onto him as much as possible, but I think blue team's decision is to just disengage from the fight as much as possible. Camille isn't with them, and it's a 4v4, but they are low on the health bar, so they do decide to just back off. And that's 7 towers gone for red side, and it's gonna be really hard for them to navigate the macro of this game now, as they're going to have to play really safe, as the moment a backdoor comes out from a champion like Camille or Jinx, they could just lose the game just off of that. But Baron is going to be hovered up soon, and red team does have the priority towards it, but I don't know if they want to just be blindly walking in like this. And the W does land into the Kennen, who is taking so much damage from just the Jinx. But I think Jinx is a little bit over aggressive. The cleanse isn't exactly ideal, and the counter goes to land, but the Talia ultimate actually almost knocks him out of it. And I think Jarvan is on the wrong side of the wall, but he will survive as the wall goes down immediately. And I think Jinx a little bit over aggressive, trying to get that poke damage onto the Kennen. And we do see an aggress coming in from People 14 onto the blue team, and Jaden will have to back off. But Maokai is just getting absolutely destroyed by the red team, and the freaking hook lands from Thresh coming in, but he will be traded out. So much damage coming out from the Akali, and there's not going to be able to go any more forward in. But red team will just be able to secure the Baron, and they will be able to expand their lead despite the fact that they only have 3 turrets down. So both teams are playing this game actually incredibly slowly. We're 30 minutes in, and it doesn't seem like either side is giving in an inch at all. And it does seem like blue side's call is to actually... Oh, and it actually goes for another Jinx Arca steal, but it actually will not land that time. But they are trying to claim the inhibitor. But blue side might be a little bit overstepped here. Come on, hit the inhibitor and just get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. And that's what they decide to do. They're going to hit the inhibitor and go and leave immediately, as they know that if they ever go for this fight, they're going to get immediately bursted down. And we do see 2 dragons for both sides, 7 turrets for blue side, 3 turrets for red side, 2 barons for the red side already in this 32-minute game now, as there's just so much to be paying attention to so far. And Jaden, despite having the skills advantage, she is incredibly low in CS compared to the Talia, and that makes it incredibly difficult. But Ducky's taking so much tower damage, and red team is just designed to go for the dive. I have no idea what they're actually doing to decide to go for this dive, but so much damage coming from the cannon going golden, but will go down immediately, following right after. And Camille is able to get into the back as much as possible. I think we might see the end of the game right here. But the shutdown coming out from Ezreal ultimate onto the Akali is actually huge, as that slows their push down so much, and Thresh is able to back, and the empowered backs are helping them so much. And Ezreal also be able to get the back off successfully, and blue team is not most likely going to be able to end this game, as Thresh and Ezreal are still alive, as they will be able to clear out the minions. And they do also have the Baron buff remaining, so even if the minions come back up, they will be able to wait for that. But so much damage coming out to the Thresh right now if they're able to get the kill, and it's huge. But the trade kill comes out onto the Camille, and I think they are just forced to back off, as Ezreal still holds onto the Baron buff, and the minion waves are now Baron empowered, and they will not be able to end off of that. But a huge team fight coming in. Blue side doing incredibly well. Red side, I think, a little bit over aggressed there, believing into the Kennen ultimate and golden that they would win this fight, and they lose a lot of Baron buffs from that. And I think Buzzy might be positioned a little too aggressively trying to get this blue buff, but he will back off, and hopefully he's able to get out safely. And yes, he will be able to. He's going to run out safely, and there is going to be a fight for this third Drake, as third Drake has an incredible amount of value right now, as it will provide your team's advantage into getting the soul point. And Ocean Soul is incredibly valiant to champions such as Jarvan, Camille, Wukong, Akali, Maokai, Thresh. And Ducky will just flash out, but Jaden going in with the follow to just get the assassination. They will give it the dragon, but instead try and assassinate Ducky in exchange for that dragon, and Ducky will go down, and red team is forced to back here as they are in a 4v5 situation despite taking that dragon. And good trades coming from both sides. I think they both decided to go with a certain game plan, whereas blue sides was, we cut off the Talia, let's try and get her as much as possible, as this Talia is sitting on a Magi Soul Stealer, which loses a lot of value whenever you die. And then we will see instead the red side choosing to go for this dragon and play around the Ocean Soul as much as possible, as they do have more champions who gain value from the Ocean Soul. And so now we will be seeing this game exceeding over the 35-minute mark, and both teams in incredibly reasonable states to be able to win it all completely. It's one team fight that completely ends it all. The positioning of the Jinx and Ezreal absolutely critical into any fight that will proceed from now on at this point in the game, as it does seem like both teams are completely in it to win it at this point, as this is how we conclude the tournament, with this final match of the championship on map 3, excuse me, map 3, the third match, as As my voice is now starting to slightly go away. As there's just absolutely an insane amount of action in this match. And now we will see a little bit of a more peaceful state of the game finally, where both teams are trying to slow it down a bit, calm their team down, and prepare for the moment where they know their win condition will arise, and that's what they play around as much as possible. Because we will see Baron, I think, hovering up here in a minute or so about, so we should be looking around that, as well as two Barons actually already claimed in this match. I think Maokai might be a little bit over aggressive. I think they're trying to hunt the Talia down, though the root does land, and Camille trying to get the assassinate damage, and the Jinx rocket does land, and I don't know if Ducky will actually go down here, though. The Thresh is here, and the cannon ultimate will land on the 4, but goes golden, but the damage is not there to follow, and Jinx is here, but Ezreal isn't here to help the team fight, as Jaden will just completely assassinate the Ezreal, and that's an ace for the blue team, and it does seem like they are just going to be able to end the game just like that off that team fight. And I think we could see the conclusion of the game here. They don't have a wave yet, but they can just tank it down, and they should be able to get these final 2 Nexus turrets and the Nexus here, and that should be the conclusion of the game, as everyone is waiting on 30-second timers. Hey, but some players going down, and blue team is incredibly low, but I don't think red team would have the timers to be able to come back from this one, as now Eva Jinx is taking the tower for her team, and that is the end of the match, as the Tarek Sims are your UCLA KASA 2023 League of Legends champions. And now we will be getting both teams back into the call. And now we have the teams coming in. And thank you everyone for that match. That was an absolutely blockbuster final match for the tournament to conclude on. Thank you so much everyone for playing, and we will proceed on to interview questions. So first, Olivia, if you would do the honors and ask one.
Okay, so my first question goes to JR's brother. I wanted to know how you felt after your rocket stole the dragon.
I'm still sorry. 1 second. I'm watching the stream and I'm like listening to like the recap. Okay. Honestly, I was feeling we were kind of behind at that point. They were kind of destroying us bot lane, so someone just calmed like, "Do you want to just try to get a random steal?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I think I just did it randomly, and yeah, it felt good. I felt like we were back in the game. And then right after we got a kill on the Talia, so I felt like I was back in.
Thank you. Pass it back to DK.
Alright, so for my question, I would like to ask the Akali player, Jaden Lee. So what was your mindset going into that Baron pit when 4 players on the enemy team were low, and did you think you had a chance to really steal that Baron right when you saw that it was low?
Yeah, I mean, we saw they were all low, and then I had TP up, and so our team decided to fight for the Baron. And then, yeah, we noticed that like the jungle didn't have smite, and so I think we tried stealing the Baron, but I think that Ezreal got it. But the fight went pretty well for us, I think, for that Baron fight, and so we were able to get a good lead off of that Baron fight.
Thank you. And Olivia, if you will do the next question.
Actually, wait, you go.
You
I
want me
can't
to
think
go?
of one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. I will ask Katie Akali on this Azrael pick. Um, so what was the mindset going in with this Ezreal pick, and how did you feel that really helped, especially in your early game?
Well, the Ezreal pick was just because it's probably the safest ADC pick that I can play since I'm not really much of an ADC player.
Uh,
But yeah.
Right.
And yeah, so the early game I was just playing just to farm, and then whenever Nathan got a hook, I'll just try to poke when I can. But oh yeah, it was just a farming lane early.
And how does it feel to play against champions like Akali, Camille, Wukong on the Azrael pick?
Oh, it was so frustrating. I mean, I have an E to get away, but then they all have so much mobility. Especially on the last fight, I think it was Jada just caught me off with the collie and kept me separate from the fight. But yeah, it was just frustrating.
Hmm. But nonetheless, a great performance from you as well. And Olivia, if you don't have a question, or if you do.
I just kind of wanted to ask, like, why were you guys the red team banking on getting Wukong, or were you okay with just letting the other team get him when you guys were banning?
I think for our draft phase, we were more focused on like taking away their other champs. Namely, it was Silas, Blitz, and either Zyra or Rakan. And then from there, the last two picks were just where like whatever who was left. And so the Wukong happened before the last two bans. But we couldn't let them have those three champions.
I see. Alright, thank you so much. And with that, I think we are going to conclude the League of Legends tournament for 2023. Thank you everyone so much for playing. That was a really, really fun match to watch. And we really congratulate the Tarek Sims for being able to win today. And a really great job also by Imagine Losing. Had a great past 4 days of matches, and they also really showed up today. And yep, with that, we will be concluding the tournament, and we hope everyone comes back for our Valorant tournament, which starts Tuesday on the 18th. So yes, everyone, thank you so much. And with that, good night as well.
Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking. Been that nigga since I came out my mama. Thinking God that he never wore a condom. Proven wrong every time till it's normal. Why worship legends when you know that you can join? These niggas don't like me, they don't like me. Likely they wanna fight me. Come on, try it out, try me. They put me down, but I never cried out. Why me? We're from the wise, don't put worth inside a nigga that ain't tried. They said I wouldn't make it out alive. They told me I would never see the rise. That's why I gotta kill 'em every time. Gotta watch 'em bleed too. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking. Don't ever say it's over if I'm breathing. Racing to the moonlight to the moonlight and I'm speeding. I'm headed to the stars, ready to go far. I'm start walking.
I'm alone, only know myself no more. Take it to the grave, I'm a ghost. I know I can be so cold. In the dark, where I like to keep my heart. No more bite, no bark. Like to catch you way off guard. I'll stay so deep inside your brain and take you somewhere far away. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die. Type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head. Do just what I said. I'm a straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Alive, but I'm dead, hear my voice up in your head. Watch it fill you full of dread till you go. Is it really a surprise if I'm playing with your mind and I treat you like a prize? Then I throw you to the side, and am I really that bad? If I love to make you mad and get happy when you're sad, only care about a bad in control. That's how I like it, and I'm never letting go. No, never had a soul, so you ain't taking nothing from me when you go. No, I'll stay so deep inside your brain and take you somewhere far away. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die. Type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head. Do just what I said. I'm a straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. But I'm dead, you know what's up in your head. Watch it fill you full of dread till you go. Bang, bang, you can do anything. No fear, no pain. Listen to your brain. Go stupid, go dumb, go stupid, and then we go insane. Whoa. Just do what I say, follow me, I like the way. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die. Type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head. Do just what I said. I'm a straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Life, but I'm dead, hear my voice up in your head. Watch it fill you full of dread till you go.
Support system on the rear. Face front, come say song. Hey, back doors all clear. Chain tie, can't play no. Well fed, we eatin'. The motto is to push for it. The ops stay too wuss for it. Like matter of fact, we creepin', now we sneaking. Enemy highs, we be seeking. Lurking through waters and bushes, oh man. Cool dodge, we deepin'. All of we die, one at a time. Those are the facts, we don't throw dice. Ready to fire, ready or not, we letting it grind. Bang, 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 bang. Wake up, we want war. Y'all know what time it is. Paint red on this ground floor. All we throw is fists. To the core we lit. Rain down abyss. Set it up like this. Set it off like this. Set it off like. Set it off like this. Set it off like. Set it off like this. Set it off like. Set it off like this. Burn it up, burn it up. Set it off like this. Set it off like. Set it off like this. Set it off like. Set it off like this. Set it off like. Set it off like this. Burn it up, burn it up.
Too many enemies, too many enemies. Too many enemies. Yeah, too many enemies, too many enemies.
해주면 내 심장이라 상처. Yeah, what? Wait. 연구만 해서 잘 그려려면 안 해주면 바로 매부 비상형. Go riders, go riot, gasoline lighters, more fire. Ski tires, blow up dynamite, need more wires. 너의 샤에 드리고 검화며 쭉갈까 일어나면 그렇게만 더럽혀 water. Go riders, go riot, gasoline lighters, more fire. Ski tires, blow up dynamite, need more wires. 너의 샤에 드리고 검화면 조용할 거야 일어나면 그렇게만 더럽혀 water. Set it off like this, set it off like set it off like this, set it off like set it off like this, set it off like set it off like this, burn it up, set it off like this, set it off like set it off like this, set it off like set it off like this, set it off like set it off like this, burn it up, say no. Welcome to the world.